Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. It is a Friday at 9:30. It is the first Friday of September. And normally that would be my cue to host a productivity stream. But this week is special and I'm doing a takeover of my own stream. I know it doesn't really make sense. I'm doing a takeover because this is still the fall reader drive, friends. So, welcome to the almost final day of the Fall Reader Drive week. My name is Margaret Pinard. I'm a historical fiction and fantasy author, and I hope you can hear me okay, even though I'm not used to the microphone and the headphones. I'm doing it for better quality, so hopefully that makes it through. For the Reader Drive this week, I have been doing some very author heavy streams and posts. And so, just in case this is anybody's first rodeo and they're just meeting me for the first time, I do write books. I'm an author, but most of this channel is actually reading focused because I'm a reader as well. So we will get back to a wrap up next Wednesday, and I'll be doing a double tag on Sunday. I had some fun preparing that yesterday as a break. But this week, September 1 through 7, is a big push to highlight I'm an author and I have a new book coming out this fall. And I would love to get people signed up on Patreon, even as free followers, so that is where they can see blog posts about the new book coming out, the title reveal, the pub date reveal, the cover reveal, all the fun things to lead up to the release of my newest historical fiction novel. So that's why the Reader Drive, and hopefully 1 week is not too much to ask to highlight. So welcome to the channel and welcome to the Reader Drive. We've got a very fun topic today, which is Good Fight Friday. And it's sort of an announcement stream. So I had a little bouleversée. I was a little turned around earlier this month, and so my scheduling got a bit mixed up, and I had two ideas. Do I do a big panel of authors to talk about this thing during the reader drive and attract attention, or do I do a series and have them one-on-one and march forward into the future with this author series? And because of scheduling topsy-turviness, it has decided for me to go with the latter. So I am announcing the Good Fight Friday series, which is going to be hosted on my channel, and I'm inviting authors who have written books that I've loved. And I started with historical fiction authors, and I've got some historical fiction adjacent, but the main issue or theme that connects them is that they write about social movements, right? So, as a historical author, I have the distance of 200 years to look back and analyze big historical changes, economic changes, social changes, political changes, lots of things, right? And this is fascinating for me. It may not be for everybody, although it should be. And I put these in my fiction because I love to show people in a story about a person or a family or a couple that these grand historical changes that big historians talk about affect people on a personal level, just like our changes today affect you and me on a personal level. Even if it's only having trouble getting groceries, not being able to afford a house, or living under a constant cloud of doom. That affects your life. That affects how you live your life. So I've read many good books by people who are yet alive, and they talk about individuals struggling against the change, struggling against an old regime, struggling to adapt, to survive, to stay connected to the people they love. And I find that really inspiring. I Yeah, I find a lot of it in historical fiction, but as you will see, I've got people who are adjacent, who have the main thrust of people experiencing social change and trying to achieve their life goals in spite of the earth tilting in front of them. But who are contemporary, who are romance, who are literary, who are speculative. Does that cover everybody? I think so. Yeah. So I've got a starting list and I don't have the full roster yet. I'm hoping to have 10-ish authors in this series from September, October, November 2024. And I'm just very excited to welcome them onto the channel. I don't have dates nailed down for people yet, but I do have definite yeses. So I'm going to go ahead and announce that these people are part of the project because I'm so excited. And I will be sharing with you all a schedule, a roster of when different people will be on, probably the next time I talk about author-related stuff. So, let me check in that I did all the things I was supposed to. I forgot to put this in the chat. Hi, Eloise. Welcome. So, like I said, this is the week for the reader drive, and it's very author focused. So, Sunday, I released my first ever audiobook chapters as a teaser taster to have people follow on Patreon. And I can actually take this off. And that went really well. So Sunday, the kickoff, the announcement, this is the reader drive, etc. Wednesday, I had a stream about my writer credentials. So why I'm so passionate about these themes, why I write about what I do, why it's important today, and like how I prepare myself to tell those stories because I want to do them justice, and that requires a fair bit of work on my part. So writer credentials was important for me to get out there. And today, like I said, we're announcing that the author interview series is going to start next week, September 13th. So Friday the 13th for people who love a good number date. And what else has gone on this week? I had posts about a curated book list about labor movements, so particular type of social change in fiction on Instagram and YouTube. You could see those. I did forgotten historical figures on Instagram and TikTok to try to get like more people, a wider audience, cognizant of people who were not huge names, or they were huge names in their day but have been totally forgotten. And they're going to be in my book. It's not a biographical fiction type deal, but they are secondary characters or very minor characters because I like to infuse my plot and conflict with very real drivers. And so maybe this will inspire people to look up who they were and what parallels we have to today. And I think that's it. It's been a busy week. I also was sharing the stories of folks who got my giveaway packages. So if you don't know, I just celebrated 4 years on YouTube as a platform, and it's been lovely. I did a celebratory stream and did 4 giveaways. It was just like bookish mail to make people smile with little, I won't say tchotchkes, but like nice sort of things for book nerds. So hopefully people enjoy those. And yeah, that's the channel. That's what I like to do. Spread joy and make people think. Hopefully. So I was going to say hi to the chat and I skipped right over that. Eloise is here. Hello. Catpot is here, says good morning. Emma Bennett is here. Hi. And she boops the like button. Thank you, Emma. Emma hosts, curates Friday self-promo posts on her Facebook group. So hopefully I put out the word there and people will know what's going on over here. It's a big week. So I appreciate that, Emma. Eloise says, yay, she was one of the winners. The mail was lovely. Excellent. Glad to hear it. If you're curious, you can find those stories today on Instagram. I'm at Margaret Pinard. Okay. So the first person who's going to be up next week, Friday, September 13th, it's going to be in the morning. You know why it's going to be in the morning for me? I don't normally do Friday morning streams, but there's a time difference, and this person is located in the UK. That's right. It's going to be Natasha Pulley. So I've read 2 books of Natasha's. One was historical fantasy and one was speculative fiction, and they both had very interesting social movement plots and themes. I would say The Mars House maybe more than nope, Bedlam Stacks has it too. So the writing is beautiful. The mystery part, the suspense is beautiful. The action is invested with stakes. Like, it's so great. And she was on the channel once before for the Mars House when I was interviewing her for A Mighty Blaze. And so I asked her to come back on for this social change themed interview. And I've sent a few people the questions. So hopefully we'll zhuzh them up and get some good questions. If you guys have good questions to ask about authors writing fiction with social themes, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. But I'm so excited that she's going to be coming on next week, which is super awesome. Yes, Cat Paw knows her writing is excellent. I know. Jim is here. Hi, Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff. Good evening to you. Yes. So Natasha Pulley. So she's done both historical fiction and fantasy and speculative, because the Mars House was set in the future. But the theme here that we're tying into the author interview series is Good Fight Fridays, meaning you're showing people struggling with what's the right thing to do, what's the wrong thing to do. We've got conflicting motivations. We've got a shifting moral plane. We've got very tricky situations. And that's the same actually in the Bedlam Stacks. So I definitely need to read The Watchmaker of Filigree Street and the other related books that she's written. But what excites me is that the characters in her books get a lot of time on the page to digest new ideas. So you're almost seeing the social movement coalesce in their understanding. So it's an outsider in a new society. The old regime is being phased out or persecuted to the death, and the new regime is coming in with guns blazing, perhaps, or new religion, perhaps, or whatever weapons they have, or vice versa. Like, the old regime is refusing to budge, and the new regime is trying to, with subterfuge or, with some means at their disposal, change the landscape so that people live lives with more freedoms, which is what I highlighted in my Wednesday stream. So I love that, and I'm very excited for her to come on. So that will go on the channel. I will start publicizing that very soon. But that's the opener for this series, and I believe I have the closer. I'm not sure about the date, but I think it's going to be November 15th, and it's going to be my friend Alice Henderson. So she does not write historical. She writes contemporary, startlingly contemporary, but they do have social themes. In fact, you could read her books for Climathon, which is a climate fiction readathon on Booktube. Alice is someone who has so many hats, but I think first and foremost, she's a scientist and someone who is trying to save the species, save the environment, let people know that their actions are impacting the environment and what they can do to save some of these really not endangered, impacted places where some of these animals live. So she's got a fabulous resume. I think she has 3 books out, with the 4th one coming out soon. Again, I've read 2 of her books, the 1st and 2nd in the series. She's got a very vivacious heroine, and She stars in a sort of cli-fi thriller where she is a scientist who works in the field and also finds people up to nefarious things. So you get science background, you get action and suspense, you get thrilling chases across the ice, you get mysterious, like shadowy figures becoming key protagonists slash antagonists. And in all of this, you get the feeling from the heroine that her work is so important to her that she's willing to risk becoming the next Bourne. What's Bourne's first name? I don't even know. But yeah. So Alice Henderson, and her heroine's name is Alex. And, I think we're all entitled to a little wish fulfillment in our fiction. So maybe that's what Alice is looking to go out and do one day, because she's got the skills. She's got the Liam Neeson skills, I can tell you. But yeah, so she'll be in November 15th. And tentatively, allegedly, I haven't set up the schedule yet. But when I do get some of these 8 or 10 names confirmed that are floating around right now on different dates, I will be posting that as a schedule, as a roster for everyone, because I think we will be extending to after the election, but running up to the election, I think these would be really good conversations to have. And especially if we can let people know what they can do to support the social changes that we want to encourage, right? So that's what I will be talking about with folks. Let's see. Oh, Cat Paw's asking, have I read Any Human Power by Amanda Scott yet? No. Amanda Scott is the author of a series that I'm trying to locate book 2 for. I think it's book 2 that I'm missing, because there's 4, and it's about Boudica, the female heroine of early British times who fought against the Roman Empire and decimated many, many Romans. But I don't want to start it without the second book, because I have 1, 3, and 4, and I'm missing the second one. But I don't know this Any Human Power. Is that a new book? Is this an answer to my question? Is Amanda Scott still alive? Like, I know the books are pretty old, so I'm not sure. Esther is here. Hello. Good to see you. Catpaw says, speaking about fighting the good fight, she even does a podcast about it. Oh, okay. I will check out Amanda Scott's podcast and this title. It's a standalone, she says. Okay. Excellent. Most definitely alive. I don't know. I just picked up for one of the reading challenges, Herkyed, Hrcyed, a middle grade fantasy series by Diane Duane. And I mean, if it was written and completed in the 80s, that's 40 years ago now. So I'm kind of like, well, if she was 40 then, she's in her 80s now. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the actuary table says about people's likelihood of living that long. So I don't want to make assumptions, but yeah. I have put a question in the chat, which is this one, basically. What's the best representation you've read in fiction of a sweeping social change affecting ordinary people? So yes, historical people, I love you. Historical fiction people, I love you, but I'm not a Henry Tudor fan. That is not my jam. So sorry to kick you out of the room, but give me something where sweeping social change is affecting ordinary people. I mean, it could be the Shard Lake Mysteries. Those definitely have big changes and ordinary people. It could be Susanna Kearsley's books, where we're talking about spies and government policies, but it's being acted through very ordinary people. She's a favorite to read as well. It could be Jacqueline Wynne Spears, although I know I'll never get her on my channel, about someone who is detecting in London and meeting people from very different backgrounds and basically incorporating different difficulties in life through those characters. That's really interesting. But let me know. Think about this one and see if you can give me a recommendation. And bonus points, it's if it's a writer who's alive. Okay. Jim says Amanda Scott, born in 1962, still alive. Okay. American Girl doll books, Eloise says. Okay. Yes. I mean, that's probably what shaped some of my sensibilities as a child. I don't know any of those authors. I read those books a lot. But I don't remember any of those authors. I may have looked back at one point and tried to remember the names, but yeah. That's an interesting tack. Because I know writers, as a writer today, who are writing middle grade fiction and YA fiction that is very focused on social issues. And they're able to do that more pointedly because it's a younger audience, because it's considered more like moral reading, right? Like trying to show kids the good things in life and the kind of person they should be. Whereas I think for adult fiction, we're assuming that, oh, well, no one wants to be told what to do or how to be, so let's not put that in there so pointedly. But I don't know. Sometimes it's not obvious to people that that they're believing something that's not true. So sometimes fiction can help in that respect. Eloise says, I'm not the person to answer this question. I mean, fellow historical fiction author, I haven't read your book, Maiden of Athens, yet, but does it include sweeping social change and ordinary people? Or is it more like gods and goddesses and people getting it on? I don't know. I haven't read it yet. You'll have to tell me. Oh, gosh. Okay, so the best read, oh boy, not translated into English. I'm going to attempt this, Cat Paw. Potatis revolutionen. I don't know what language that is. Is it German? Revolutionen. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Potato Revolution, not a novel. Okay, I'm talking about fiction here because there's lots of nonfiction that I have read, and it's a different argument to enjoin people to read the nonfiction, whereas I'm writing the fiction part. So I'm interested in the fiction part. So disqualified. Okay, Jim says, but it does sound like an interesting nonfiction. Jim says, Married McLeod writes about the Highland clearances, like in The False Men. Oh, wow. Okay, let's see. I gotta look this up right away. North Uist, False Man. False Men? It's a typo in the description. Okay, Amazon doesn't know what it's doing. North Uist in the Outer Hebrides starts in 1848. Interesting. It was published in 2017. Ooh! Thank you, Jim. I needed to find this because this is going to make an appearance on Sunday's stream. But Clear by Karis Davis is on one of my tag lists to read soon, which is about the clearances. Let's see. Thank you. FWI. I don't know what that means. I know FYI is for your information. FWIW is for what it's worth, but this one is stumping me. Amanda Scott's podcast is called Accidental Gods. Okay. Where am I going to write that down where it's not going to dissolve into the ether? Oh, let's see. I'll get a pad of paper out. Fancy. All right, so Margaret McLeod, I should say. False Men and Amanda Scott. Well, if I invite her on, I will definitely have to read one of her books first. Accidental Gods. That's an intriguing title for that topic. Oh my gosh. Cat paws on fire this week. Eloise says, no sweeping social change, but definitely questioning status quo. Well, that's where it starts. Yep. A collection of women who aren't interested in living under the patriarchy anymore. Woot woot! And set out to create a different way of living. Ooh, see? Oh, see? Totally wrong direction. Not much God, goddess activity or smut. Okay, excellent. Okay, FYI. Okay, good. I wasn't sure which direction I should go. Nice. Okay. I mean, this could transform itself into a question, right? Like sweeping social change. When I'm looking at it historically, I'm thinking, okay, economic change, meaning people moving from the countryside to the cities. How did that affect people? Economic change, like rich landowners buying up the land and making it impossible for small landowners or croft people to eke out a living, even subsistence farming. Market changes, like things like this, right? Like big changes, questioning the status quo. In that context, questioning the status quo would be someone standing up to a judge that has issued an order for people to vacate, for example, and saying, this isn't right. I want to talk to the landowner about this, or I'm writing a petition to Parliament about this. And like I said, it could go either way. The old or the new can be the good situation. So if you're questioning the status quo, depends at that would dictate which side you're on, maybe. I don't know. It's not necessarily sides. There's gray area, but this is an interesting, I'm going to star it so I can come back to it later. Okay. Ooh, Eloise says the smut's going to be in the prequel. Oh, okay. What's your definition of sweeping? To me, it's impacting a lot of people. Yeah. Yes. Probably also taking place over a long period of time, not like a demonstration that happened once or yeah. So a lot of people and a long time. I guess that's a pretty simple explanation. Is that a book description of Eloise's books? Yes, it's called The Maiden of Athens. I'm sorry, Maiden of Artemis. I think I said it right the first time. It's my debut historical fantasy novel, book 1 of a series that explores the origins of the Amazons from Greek mythology. And I think she just finished drafting book 2, maybe. Yeah, cool. So definitely check it out. I loved Eloise's recent video about the cover art journey. That was really cool. We've got This Radiant Life. Hello. Welcome again. Excited to see your publishing journey. Thank you. If you notice, this author-heavy week for the Reader Drive, I've put Journey to Publish 2024 in my thumbnails because that is the focus. And if I say it enough times, I will get on my back about actually putting it through and getting everything in on time. So there we go. That's the purpose. Accountability. Not even close to book 2. All right. Well, you need some more late night sprints then, obviously. Any other answers for this question? Best representation you've read in fiction of a sweeping social change affecting ordinary people. I've got 2 great recommendations to follow up on. Yeah. And while you're all thinking about that, I will just put in the teasers. I have more than one. So the teaser for the fall, the whole fall season, is that the Journey to Publish will include countdown to a pub date. I will be dropping a pub date soon, I promise. And then the title, and then a cover reveal, and then a pre-order offer. So I'll be offering something special for people who do a pre-order, because pre-orders are great. If you don't know, as a reader, it lets an author know how many copies to order for themselves to sell in person, and it helps frame that first week of sales as like a big boost, so that there's the possibility of catching the tails of some algorithm so that they'll boost you. It's never happened before, but there's always a first time, so maybe this is it. And yeah, I'm very excited about the Good Fight Friday series. Like I said, next week, Friday, the 13th of September, I'll host Natasha Pulley, author of The Mars House and the Watchmaker of Filigree related series. And we'll be talking about sweeping social change in fiction. And then in November, probably the 15th, but don't hold me to it, is going to be Alice Henderson to close the series, and we'll be talking about cli-fi and sweeping social change because of the climate disaster, imminent, incoming, and her fiction, which is great. So I'll have different types of authors, like I said, mostly historical because that's where I read, but also contemporary and romance and what was the other one? Speculative. Natasha's speculative. So yes, it's going to be a fun time. And if you've got ideas for questions for these authors, let me know in the comments. But I'm very excited for all this to kick off, and very appreciative of those who have reached out and shared and said lovely things this week. It just feels so big this week, and I feel like I'm trusting myself, and it's great. So coming off this high is not going to be fun. All right, let's see if we've got any more answers before we close out today. Louise, I am taking all the notes for a book launch from you, Margaret. Your ideas are excellent, and I'm so stoked for this. Yay! Yeah, I would definitely not recommend doing what I'm doing because I'm building like stairways up into the sky without knowing what it's based on because I'm waiting for results. But if I don't do this as I go, it's just never going to happen. So that's providing me the motivation. But I think that would be scary for other people. So, take some, leave some advice. Les Mis. Oh, did you say Les Mis earlier and I missed it? I don't see it. Maybe I just missed it. Let's see. Yes, Les Mis is definitely focused on sweeping social change. It's about, which one is it about? Shoot, I just read. Is it 1838? It's some weird date that is not one of the main revolutions, but is actually the one that Hugo was writing about. And yeah, I have not read it. I've just seen the movie musical, so who knows how far I am from the mark. But it's definitely treating the theme that I'm after, which is change in government, change in values, shifting class structure, mass migration, mass terror, and how that affects ordinary people. So yeah, the Innkeepers, that song. Yeah, that would be a good one. Too bad I can't invite Victor Hugo on to my show. Oh, nice. So Ray says, I'm slowly starting to get out of my head to finally get over a couple thousand words from my novel. That is fantastic. Glad to hear it. Glad to see you here. It's great. I think she's asking for books with authors who are alive. Yeah. But that's a great answer. I mean, it does fit the prompt. It's a long book. Yes, it is. Yeah. But I mean, maybe people know about Les Mis retellings. That's probably been done. So maybe those authors are alive. Yeah. So to conclude, this is the last live stream for the reader drive, and I want to hammer home. I am not good at the newsletters because they don't get much response, and I don't think they're read. I'm not going to pay for a course to do better. I just have done this for too long, and it has not produced the results. So I'm shifting to Patreon as like the main funnel, right? You don't need to pay money to be on Patreon. You can be a free follower. And if you follow, you will get access to and notifications for by email posts. And what I post there is about twice a month. I will do public posts to try to draw people in and see what I'm doing. And I will do private posts for people who are followers that will include, I don't know, audiobook chapters. I might just keep making those free. Who knows? And photo essays and writing life essays and updates. So that's where you will find the pub date published first, and the title reveal, and the cover reveal, and the pre-order offer, and all those things. So I would really love if I could see people go over to Patreon. It's this link. It's pretty easy. I have a secret to remembering this, and if you want to know, it's dorky. Patreon_MP4. My name is Margaret Pinard, so the MP is there. And 4, because I'm a 4 on the Enneagram. And MP4, because that's a video format. And here I am, live and in color on video. So Patreon_MP4 is my bit.ly link. And I would love to see you there as a free follower. You get free audiobook chapters until the end of Saturday, and maybe going forward, who knows, and updates on the fall release. So hopefully that will be enticing to people, and you can follow me on this journey to publish 2024. So that is me, and thank you so much for being here and cheering me on. And like I said, this week, author heavy, trying to encourage people to visit Patreon, become free followers. Next week, I will resume the book talk blathering. So fear not. We do Booktube, we do AuthorTube, and this is just an AuthorTube kind of week. So taste life twice, take care of yourself, and happy reading, everybody. Ciao for now.